Sean Strickland has, he's got this man code, and he believes in it. Like, you got to get your ass kicked every now and then. He spars all the time, spars constantly. And if you agree,
talking to Chris Curtis and Sean.
Oh, Sean! Oh, wow!
What's
Whoa!
up?
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Oh, shit.
Oh no! Oh no! No!
Yeah, I saw him.
Sean Strickland's done it again, but this time it wasn't in the UFC cage. It didn't happen under bright lights on a massive pay-per-view card. No, this went down at a smaller show, Tough Enough 145, on June 29th in Las Vegas. Yet in just minutes, it turned into a huge MMA headline. Here's what happened. Viral videos show Strickland and his friend, fellow UFC veteran Chris Curtis, storming the cage. Why? Their teammate Miles Huninger had just lost via submission. The winner, a young and undefeated fighter named Luis Hernandez, who pulled off a smooth guillotine and didn't hide his excitement. In fact, he made sure Strickland's corner saw just how proud he was of what he did.
It looks like he's sticking out his tongue at Sean Strickland, so let's kind of start there. How did this all start, this back and forth with you and Sean? Who said the first thing? Who fired the first verbal shot, if you will?
So I don't want to go too crazy on like details, but I noticed they looked at me and they laughed. They said something. I think he said something to one of the other cornermen, or I know it was like 3 of them. They said something and they started laughing at me, and I was like, man, I'm not a joke. I believe I am the real deal.
In the video, you see everything. Right after the win, Hernandez stares directly at Strickland and Curtis and mocks them hard. He even crotch chops at them, according to some reports, and if you know Strickland, you know this isn't going to end well. He didn't hesitate for a second. With his fists clenched, he charged into the cage and started throwing punches at Hernandez. Curtis ran in too, grabbing Hernandez by the neck. It escalated fast. Security, fighters and staff all rushed in to break it up before it exploded into a full-on brawl. After the chaos, reactions started flooding in. Joe Rogan, who's watched Strickland for years, shared his thoughts on his podcast. Rogan wasn't exactly shocked, but he was clear. "You can't have that, man," Rogan said. "You just can't have guys jumping into the cage and throwing punches after the fight's over." He added, "Yeah, it's sure, that's what you expect, but still, that's not how this works." Joe acknowledged that Strickland's always been unpredictable, always on edge, but said just because you expect something doesn't mean it's okay. And honestly, that's how a lot of longtime fans felt. Like, of course it's Sean, but also, dude, come on.
Yeah, I'm laughing. I'm like, I didn't expect what happened to happen. I was like, okay, I guess this is happening. I believe I heard, oh, he's tired. His arms are going to blow out. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Blow the kiss. And I did the tongue. I was like, ah! I was just like so ready. I was like, I think a lot of people see me and they're confused and like, what I'm capable of. I believe I am the real deal. And I was like able to show,
Once the footage blew up online, flooding Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you knew Strickland would respond. And he did, posting to his platform. But instead of apologizing, he almost confessed it was raw. "I told myself I wouldn't hit anyone unless they signed a contract," he wrote. "But man, you taunt me, you say my name, you crotch chop. I can't just let that go, I'm not there yet. Call it weakness, that line, that's so Sean. It's not about showing off." He truly doesn't seem to have that filter, whatever it is that stops normal people from doing something like this. He acted like it was the only thing he could have done, and his fans, they ate it up. Chris Curtis hasn't said much about it. He didn't swing like Strickland did, but he still jumped in, grabbed Hernandez and played a role in the chaos, and for someone like Curtis, who's usually known for staying cool, that wasn't a good look. But the weirdest twist, Luis Hernandez, the guy who got attacked, he wasn't even mad. Seriously, in an interview with MMA Fighting, he was calm, almost amused. "I've got nothing against them," he said. They even asked if I'd press charges. I was like, what? No way. I actually like those guys. I hope they watch this. He even said he liked Extreme Couture, their gym. I got nothing against Sean. Nothing against Chris. I like those guys.
He's a very inappropriate gesture. If you go watch the video, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But you can't tell me that you can make that gesture and not expect somebody to want to come in and fight you. It was a very disrespectful thing to do, and the fact that he thought it was okay to do it to two UFC fighters is insane. Now the thing is, Dana White takes incidents like this very seriously, so Sean Strickland and Chris Curtis could both be facing a suspension from the UFC. Rumors have it that Sean Strickland could be facing a 12 to 15 month suspension, while Chris Curtis could be.
Hernandez looked at it like just another wild moment in MMA. Yeah, he admitted he taunted them, because apparently Strickland and Curtis were laughing at him before the fight. His celebration, his gestures, it was payback. But to him it wasn't criminal. And get this, he once wanted to train at Extreme Couture. He smiled and said probably not going to happen now. When asked if Sean or Chris reached out to apologize, Van Hannens was a bit vague. He hinted something may have been said privately, possibly a little discussion, he said. But honestly, I've got no issue. I just hope the commission doesn't come down hard on them. At the end of the day, we're all pros, and this is entertainment.
Man, but here he comes. Here's Strickland.
And that's
what I love.
That's Chris Curtis, yeah? Yeah.
Chris Curtis.
I love how Chris Curtis like gets in between them, like, all right, I'll yell at you, but I'll keep Sean from hitting you.
Right. Oh,
yeah, that's
man.
true. He kind of saved. You know what I love about Sean? He kind of marches forward, right? When he goes to fight people, he marches forward, kind of like he's marching into war like a Confederate soldier. Look at this.
He does. He does that during a fight, and he does it in real life, man. That's true. Gosh.
And that right there is the core of the issue between being professional and putting on a show. Strickland's always walked that fine line, sometimes stepping way over it. He's known for going full blast in sparring without warning. He's gone viral again and again for his wild behavior. But now, even his fans are wondering, how long can he keep doing this without facing real consequences?
Yeah, buddy, you probably shouldn't be doing that to a corner with Chris Curtis and Sean Strickland in it. Look how mad they are. He's like, oh no, please stop. I was joking. They don't care. You don't disrespect them like that. Definitely not UFC fighters. Come on, man. He deserves that. Like, what are you thinking? That's such a low IQ thing to do. They were heated too. They wasted no time getting.
Muhammad Makayev, a former UFC fighter, saw all this and didn't stay quiet. He couldn't help pointing out what looked like a double standard. Makayev, who left the UFC in 2024 after being labeled trouble, reposted the video of Strickland's rampage with a sarcastic caption, "But I'm the troublemaker." Makayev was punished for backstage drama. Now Strickland throws real punches at a fighter in a non-UFC event, and silence. No suspension, no public statement, nothing.
Hey, guess what? Sean Strickland could have dropped me. That's what I think, and I'm a 170, baby. Guess what, UFC? I want my chance, please. I'm a full-time cop. I want to give a shout-out to Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, Priority Response Team, Sheriff Rosie. You know how we do it, baby. Miami.
Fans aren't ignoring the hypocrisy either. Sean Strickland, popular with fans for his wild personality, has gotten away with stuff before, and now everyone's watching to see if it'll happen again. Whether he gets punished or not depends mostly on the Nevada State Athletic Commission, NSAC. So far, they haven't said anything official, but here's the thing. Luis Hernandez, the guy who got punched, isn't pressing charges. In fact, he's asking them not to punish Sean or Chris at all. Still, the commission doesn't need a formal complaint to act. They've handed out suspensions before over far less decent, just for pushing or yelling after fights. And this was straight up violence. The fight was over. Hernandez had already won. That makes it serious.
Sean Strickland se ha vuelto loco en esta pelea. Estaba en la esquina de un peleador en una pelea y se ha vuelto totalmente loco. Atentos. Como podéis ver, le ha sudado total, se ha calentado, le ha soltado 2 yescas que ni se lo creía el otro. En plan, el otro pensaba que sí, que un careo a lo mejor, pero no se esperaba, yo creo, 2 yescas. Se la suda todo porque a lo mejor por esto te pueden banear de ese sitio o algo así, como hicieron contra Conor McGregor. Y lo más lógico sería haberle esperado a la salida, pero se ha calentado y le ha soltado una. Y menos mal que el otro no le ha pegado, porque Sean Strickland estaba por detrás. Menos mal, de la que ha salido.
What happened? Well, man, you know, we were in the fight and they were talking in the fight. And, you know, man, listen, there's only so much, you know, we could take. This is entertainment, right? So he said some things and then I said some things back. And I guess he didn't like what I said back. You know,
what
man.
What he said to you?
Well, he was talking shit. He was saying I was tired. He was making fun of me. I think he called me fat.
Okay.
You know, I don't like take that lightly. Me, he said, fuck you, Sean Strickland. You know?
And then he punched you.
Yeah, he punched.
The Tough Enough promotion hasn't really said much either, but let's be honest, the event got more attention than any of their recent fights, not because of the competition, but because of what happened after it. Some say that's bad for the sport, others say, hey, this is just part of MMA. It's real, it's raw, it's wild, and that's what people love. Meanwhile, Strickland's back to business as usual, posting training videos like nothing even happened. His fans are defending him in the comments. MMA news pages are looping the video over and over, and Hernandez still undefeated, but this win, people aren't talking about the guillotine choke, they're talking about what came next. As that viral footage kept circulating of Sean Strickland charging into the cage at Tough Enough 145, the story became about more than just the punch. Luis Hernandez had just won with a slick guillotine and then turned to taunt the other corner. It looked like ego, but this was bigger than that. It raised legal questions, relatory questions, because Strickland wasn't just a random fighter that night. He was officially licensed as a cornerman for Miles Huninger, and under NSAC rules, that comes with responsibilities and rules. Once he entered the cage and started swinging, he broke several of them. And yeah, Sean knew it. The next day, Strickland posted again, and hidden under all the tough guy stuff was a little admission. I shouldn't have cornered the fight, he wrote. That sentence stood out. It wasn't a full apology, but it showed he knew how the commission might see this. Cornermen aren't just bystanders, they're accountable too. They have rules to follow, and when Strickland jumped into the cage after the fight and threw punches, he crossed the line, not just emotionally, but legally. That's the kind of thing that leads to suspensions or fines. The commission hasn't made a decision yet, but if we look at the past, we might get an idea of what's coming. In 2018, after the chaos at UFC 229, when Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor's teams brawled post-fight, both fighters got suspended. Khabib got 9 months and a $500,000 0 fine. McGregor got 6 months and was fined $50,000 0. Now that was during a huge event watched by millions. Tough enough? It's a small regional show, but rules are rules, and the difference here, Khabib's fight had just ended when the chaos began. Strickland's? The fight was long over. The winner was celebrating the attack. It happened after the result was already official. Luis Hernandez already made it clear he's not pressing charges, but again, the NSAC doesn't need that. They've punished fighters before without a formal complaint, and with Strickland, everything's on camera, every angle in slow motion. You can see it, he landed 2 solid punches before security stepped in. Chris Curtis didn't throw hands, but he grabbed Hernandez by the neck, and Hernandez? He didn't fight back. He never raised a fist. That fact alone might make the commission take this even more seriously. Being a former champ doesn't mean you're above the rules. Even if someone mocks you or taunts your corner, you're supposed to let security handle it. You don't go in there and throw punches. And from what we've heard, the Tough Enough promotion knew it was a mess. Behind the scenes, people are worried. This wasn't just bad PR, this was a full-blown security failure. Joe Rogan even pointed it out. It happened in front of young fighters, amateurs, and fans expecting structure and safety. And many are questioning why Strickland and Curtis were even allowed to stay cage-side after the fight. And one person claiming to be there said no one even tried to stop him, he just walked in wearing flip-flops and started swinging. Now, fighters are nervous that the commission might start clamping down, maybe banning UFC-level guys from cornering at regional events at all. While the commission decides, the MMA world isn't staying quiet. Reddit and Twitter lit up with outrage. Posts like, "This is what happens when you let Strickland act like a wild dog, and he should be arrested," trended fast. Memes popped up too, joking about Strickland storming weddings or grocery stores. Yes, a few fans defended him, saying Hernandez shouldn't have mocked the corner, but most agreed he crossed the line. And what made people angrier? The UFC's silence. That silence deafening. Usually the UFC says something when things blow up, but this time, nothing. Critics say it's because Strickland brings in views, chaos, and cash, and the UFC protects that. Meanwhile, the calmest person through all of this, Luis Hernandez, the guy who got punched. He's 6-0 now, didn't press charges, and stayed respectful. That maturity? Fans love it. And here's the twist, what might suspend Strickland could be the moment that launches Hernandez's career. Sponsors are reaching out. His next fight will be huge. He didn't throw a punch, but he walked away the bigger man. Strickland, on the other hand, might be sidelined from cornering or even fighting in Nevada until 2026. What do you think? Did Strickland go too far? Should there be consequences? Let us know. And don't forget to subscribe for more